We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order.
Rachel.
Here.
Katie.
Here.
Sarah.
Here.
Jeff Gorno. James. Carrie.
Here.
Jeff Weaver.
Here. If everyone will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing for a moment of silence for armed services personnel. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Are there any items to be added or changed to the agenda?
There is not.
Okay. Correspondence and commendations. We have a thank you card to the Kiwanis Club from South Maple Elementary staff and students for their generous donation to the book vending machine. We have a thank you email to the South Maple PTO from Gaylord Community Schools for their purchase of a refrigerator for the staff lounge. Now we have recognitions and acknowledgements, personnel, new hires, GIS teacher Jeff Pretzloff, Jordan Bell, Ann Perdias, Gaylord Middle School teacher Rochelle Wrangler, North Ohio and South Maple Elementary music teacher Sarah Peterson, special education teacher Diana Respecki, CTE business and computer teacher Skylar Van Steenis, Gaylord High School social worker Victoria Brunsma Litzner, Gaylord High School varsity wrestling head coach Casey Stradling, Gaylord High School varsity girls swim head coach Leslie Cottrell, freshman volleyball coach Delaney Brigham, Gaylord High School assistant football coaches Tanner Catt and Dan Bautner, varsity sideline and competitive cheer head coach Aaron Michaels. Do we have any of those individuals here? All right. Who would like to go first?
I'll get it over.
Jeff wants to go first.
Mr. Byram, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Byram.
You guys listed me first, so I'll go first.
All right.
I'm gonna do GHS and GIS, so I'll just have both of them come up.
Yep, please.
All right. Good. So we'll start with Mr. Pretzloff. Mr. Pretzloff brings well over 20 years of teaching experience. His most recent stint was at St. Mary's right down the road. Was it fourth grade or third grade? Third grade. All right. And you would have seen him on our sidelines for the past couple of years. He was our defensive coordinator at Gaylord High School, but he stepped down because he'll probably be at a lot of state games these next few years. So this is Mr. Pretzloff, and then Mrs. Cottrell. We just learned that we just missed each other at high school. She was on the first 3 years of our Gaylord Blue Devils swim team in 98, 99, 2000. She's been helping out with the varsity swim program for the past 3 years, and has been part of the Gators for roughly 10 years. So a lot of swim experience with Ms. Cottrell. So maybe she can teach me how to swim. So, all right, great. So, well,
Jeff, good to see you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Sir, thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Good
to see you.
Leslie, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wesley.
Yeah. Oh, do you? Yeah, it's okay, no.
Well, I mean, I was running, then I got hurt.
We'd like to welcome Sarah Peterson to the K-3 teaching staff. She is our new K-3 music teacher. She will be split between South Maple and North Ohio. She's a longtime member of the community. She comes to us with an extensive background in music therapy, and she also did a stint at St. Mary's down the road teaching K-12 music. So welcome, Sarah. Thank you.
Congratulations, Sarah.
Thank you so much.
Sarah, welcome.
Thank you. Welcome. I'm so excited. Thank you.
No other introductions, I take it then. All right. We shall move on to resignations. We have Gaylord Middle School teacher Sean Lantner, Gaylord Intermediate School teacher Christine Bennett, educational assistant Alyssa Marsack. Varsity sideline and competitive head cheer coach Paige Human and Aaron Michael. Those are our resignations. We have tenure. Gaylord High School teacher Sydney Johnson, Michael McFalda, Krista Polinsky. Gaylord Middle School teachers Sean Lantner, Gaylord Intermediate teacher Cynthia Brown, Gaylord Middle School, South Maple Elementary teacher Pamela Lagatuda, North Ohio teacher Aaron Clays, Brittany Cornish, and North Ohio South Maple teacher Stephanie McNamara. Do we have any of our tenure recipients? Nope. Okay. Retirements, we have a retirement for Gaylord High School teacher Kaylin Carey-Jakel and Gaylord High School Assistant Principal Athletic Director Christian Wilson. That will be effective at the end of 2024. And we have a letter of recognition, Heidi Weber, North Ohio kindergarten teacher. Those are all of our new hires and resignations and tenure. Now we have public input. Okay, we have quite a few public input here. I'm going to assume there might be a few that are new. A reminder to some and an introduction to a few. You'll have 3 minutes to address the board. You are addressing the board and not the crowd, so please face forward to us. We will not interact with you. If you have a question or a concern, we will get back with you. If you're just making a statement, we'll listen to that and move forward with whatever have to. We ask you to be polite and courteous, no derogatory remarks towards anyone, just be professional. So we will go on, and if I think I said you'll get 3 minutes, and then you'll hear the timer, and we just ask you that you wrap it up at that time. Renee Alexander, you have the floor first, and I'm sorry, before you, we have two at this one. So if you want to speak now, you can. If you want to wait and speak at the second one, you can do that too. I'm sorry.
For my comment at the end.
You're going to go to the end. Okay. Next up will be Paige Human. Okay.
So sorry.
That's all right. We're here for kids, so.
I'm gonna say, we like kids.
Take that. Let me just pull this up really quickly. So sorry. Okay. Good evening. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Paige Human. I'm a 2011 Gaylord High School alumni. I also took the place of the competitive cheer coach in the midst of the season last year and had a extremely short tenure this year as the sideline varsity cheer coach. I come to you tonight as a previous coach, parent, and community member who is extremely concerned about the state of our cheer program. In the course of a year, it has quite literally fallen apart. When I was called in mid-April asking to accept the position of head coach, I was elated to continue working with the athletes I had gotten to know during the winter, to continue into the next season with allowing these athletes to show their full potential and to continue the hard work, dedication, and love of this sport the coach before me had instilled in these athletes. Less than 24 hours after accepting my position, the JV coach, Kim Jones, made a frivolous complaint against me to AD Christian Wilson and Superintendent Craycraft. While it was not taken seriously, it was just the beginning of the harassment I would face in the extremely short 4 weeks. I resigned, hoping that the next coach would not face the same as much resistance and be able to continue the path that these athletes were on. After the last few weeks with the parent-athlete meeting and tryouts, it is quite clear that that is not the case. From my point of view, it is evident that Coach Michael has let the JV coach make the decisions in regards to the future of this program, which will be detrimental to the future of cheer athletes in this town. For those of you who are not familiar with cheerleading, a lot of us consider sideline season practice for competitive, where we can hone in on the skills that we need to perfect in order to get on the floor and competitive and really drive up our scores. The coaching staff decided to cut all away games from our cheer girls. And if you're not aware, we only have 4 home games during our football season. It is not conducive to the success of these athletes. Additionally, they also decided to cut tumbling practices completely out of the schedule for the summer, and I'm going to assume the next school year, which provided a very safe environment for these athletes to continue building on the skills that they already have, but to push them to further their skill set, to again, reach higher scores when it comes to competitive season. My fear is that Kim Jones will do everything in her power to break down these athletes, doing the minimum amount possible, all in the sake for her title. My hope is that in hearing these testimonies today, you will see how much damage this one person has done and finally take a stand for these young athletes and allow them to not only be heard, but to stand behind them. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Haley Wells.
What was her name? Oh my gosh.
Good evening. My name is Haley Wells. I'm 16 years old and an upcoming junior at the Gaylord High School. Me and countless others are here today as a means to hopefully finally have our voices heard. The school system has swept everything under the rug and they are not listening. The Gaylord High cheer program is being destroyed more and more every day. A coach, someone whose job is to teach people to improve at a sport, skill, or school subject, to understand people's strengths and weaknesses, and promote and maintain motivation in those that they work with. And a coach is going to be the downfall of the program if something is not done soon. The 4 coaches the school program currently has in place, if you can even call them that, do not match that definition at all. A coach should not be the reason someone with a promising college career in their sport should have to make the heart-shattering decision to walk away from that sport because they simply can't handle the strain and drama caused. One in particular, Kim Jones. Kim is single-handedly, along with her puppets, bullied and harassed not one but 2 varsity coaches out of their positions. One coach bullied out by this joke of a coach not even 5 months after she got her position. And why? Because Kim is jealous of their ability to coach, one she will never have, while the school stood by and allowed her to do it. But not only has she taken away our coaches, she's completely ruined our love and mentality in and out of the sport. In only a few short months, she taught me absolutely nothing except for what I never want to be, and exposed me and countless others to things we should not have been, such as marijuana. This summer at an escape room, when me and another athlete fell through an unlocked door containing a bunch of it, and were yanked out until we didn't see that, and it was an escape room for adults. Took one athlete's word at camp this summer and forced us all to run without ever asking our side of it. And how did the school solve this? By asking her to please stop and placing yet another coach in. Erin, who Kim sunk her claws into the very second she could. Erin now does not speak for herself, only speaks when she is spoken to, and rolls her eyes when questions are asked because she doesn't know the answer. I'm sorry, but you cannot allow a JV middle school coach to roll over a varsity. It will never work. I've always loved cheer from the time I could walk to now, but Kim is slowly ruining my love for it. It is so mentally draining to watch something you love be ripped away from you part by part just because a grown woman cannot get a grip on reality. The rumors, fake allegations, bullying, harassment, and drama need to be put to an end, or there will be no program left to save. Please hear our voices, open your eyes, and quit sweeping it to the side. These 4 need to be removed. If you haven't listened before, you need to now. Thank you.
Thank you. Brittany Gunderson.
Good evening to our school board and attending administration and community members. My name is Brittany Gunderson, and for the past 7 years, I have had the honor of serving as the head varsity cheer coach at Gaylord High School. When I took over the program, I built it from the ground up, instilling in my athletes that while they wouldn't cheer forever, my goal was to shape them into strong, contributing members of society. Through the years, I've had the privilege of coaching countless young women who have gone on to pursue law degrees, become mothers, enter nursing programs, and even continue cheering at the collegiate level. Most importantly, they've become positive citizens. I led by example, matching their efforts in health, fitness, and work ethic, earning the buy-in from both parents and athletes. This collective effort culminated in record high scores for GHS last year, and I was honored to be named District 12 Coach of the Year. Under my direction, our program experienced minimal drama. I maintained a firm yet supportive environment, safeguarding our program's integrity. However, last fall, the situation took a dramatic turn. JV coach Kim Jones openly disparaged Mr. Andrew Coots, a mentor to our team, in front of varsity athletes. When I asked her to leave due to her inappropriate comments, she retaliated by making false accusations against me, alleging an inappropriate relationship with Mr. Coots and I and mistreatment of my athletes. Despite administration finding no grounds for her claims, she solicited parents to report me, spreading misinformation with the community. This ongoing drama deeply affected not only me, but most importantly, my athletes. They just wanted to cheer, yet adult conflicts overshadowed their experience. Kim's behavior was unbecoming of a coach, and she manipulated others to her side. During the competitive season, more false accusations emerged, disrupting our team's progress. Administration admitted that these accusations seemed baseless, driven by Kim and her associates' personal vendettas. Ultimately, I made the difficult decision to resign to protect my athletes. I believe that my departure would end turmoil, allowing my girls to focus on their sport. Administration assured me that Kim and Candace and their allies would not take over and I could help find a suitable replacement. I left trusting in their promise to support my athletes' growth and development. However, since my resignation, the program lost new hire coach Paige due to Kim's berating, gained coach Aaron, who handed falsely written probations voicing concerns, and the once strong foundation we built is now in disarray. Coach Page and certain athletes have been targeted and punished for their associations with me, and if I was the problem, my departure should have resolved the issues. Instead, the ongoing drama points to Kim Jones, Candace Marcotte, and their staffing. This situation is not about me, it is about the young women we promised to support and develop. We must stand together to protect the opportunities that cheerleading provides and not let a few tarnish a program that has positively impacted so many athletes. As a community and as a Gaylord Community Schools, we need to stand for the values we hold dear and ensure our athletes continue to thrive in a positive environment. I ask the board to apply pressure to administration we call upon since last September with no resolution to protect our athletes and ask for Kim Jones's resignation. If the solution is my reinstatement to the program, I would consider this for the stability of the program. Thank you.
Thank you. Mickey Morin.
Good evening. My name is Mickey Morin. My daughter Amaya is going into her senior year. I have been a cheer mom for the past 3 years. In that time, I've watched my daughter grow stronger, both mentally and physically, gain confidence, learn to lead, and just become the best version of herself. All things learned under coaching of Brittany Gunderson and Staff Sergeant Coots of the Marine Corps. Over the past year, the cheer program has been under attack. I've witnessed petty women lie and manipulate their way into their current positions. These same women forced a wedge between the athletes, dividing them completely, asking them to lie and make allegations against the tough coaches, eventually causing the resignation of Coach Brittany and Coach Page, and also forcing the Marine Corps presence out of the program completely. Our current cheer staff isn't interested in growing strong, confident young women. Instead, they are making outlandish changes, like not traveling with our varsity football team to away games to cheer for them, canceling skills camps that our girls have attended season after season, also canceling tumble, which was done weekly and as a team. New coaches have mentioned weightlifting opportunities for the girls, but this will be done on your own, not a team requirement, and not with our cheer coaches present. The mandatory parent meeting, which was scheduled, given parents less than 24 hours notice, was the first time meeting new varsity coach Erin. Although we didn't meet, she stayed planted at the head of the table next to JV coach Kim Jones, who ran the meeting. Parents did not receive much info in the 20-minute meeting. We also didn't receive or go over handbooks at all. Erin had little to say the entire time, seeming flustered if questioned. For example, when Erin was asked about alumni Jen Wood's status as assistant coach, she stated, "We haven't had that conversation yet." Then proceeds to tell Jen following the meeting that because of her friendship with previous coach Brittany's daughter, she wouldn't be able to separate herself. Therefore, not assistant coaching after all. Jen was sad and disappointed, rightfully so. She expressed her feelings in a Facebook post. Parents, friends, and teammates, past and present, showed support. Come to find out, if you were one of those who liked, commented, or shared the post, you were on probation. Day one of tryouts, June 4th, right off the bat, multiple athletes were handed probationary letters, then told they may not contact their parents until after tryouts were concluded. The letters stated their probation would last the duration of this season, and the incident will remain in their permanent athletic file. Myself and 2 other cheer moms met with A.D. Wilson regarding this. We also met with Superintendent Craycraft that same day. They had no previous knowledge of these letters and told us they were null and void. What type of people write fake letters designed to scare kids into respecting them? Our current cheer staff, that too. I hope that by being here tonight, we can all agree that this whole program needs an overhaul. Anyone currently associated in the cheer program should be dismissed. These women are on a power trip ruining everything that was built by our previous coaches. Please help our girls. Please encourage the overhaul and rebuild. Do the right thing. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you. Amaya Moran.
Hello, my name is Amaya Moran. Throughout my 3 years, going on 4 years of high school, I've been a part of the varsity cheer program. Cheer has brought me many memories and happiness, and most of these good memories coming from team bonding and overnight trips, which Kim Jones doesn't seem to be big on, considering she has canceled all of our away games and many events that we have traditionally done in the varsity cheer program. Coach BTG and Staff Sergeant Coots have taught me pretty much everything I know in terms of leadership and teaching all of the athletes to being strong individuals. One of the biggest points of being a cheerleader is being energetic and encouraging. How are our new athletes supposed to act accordingly when the staff doesn't even act like they want to be there to begin with? Me and many others have noticed a dramatic shift in the program since the resignation of Brittany Gunderson. Our teams were responsible and respectable, everyone got along as they needed to, and we were growing rapidly with scores. The only thing stopping us now is hateful, full-grown women willing to lie and manipulate children, and for what? To take over a cheer program? Speaking for myself, cheer has saved me in ways that I didn't know. Cheer is honestly my only real escape, and I know that applies for other people too. Cheer should be a happy place, and we have had that robbed from us. All of the athletes standing here today want to simply cheer, but that cannot be done. I refuse to stand what these coaches are doing and how they have single-handedly tore down this program that I have helped build. It is my senior year, and I'm tired of fighting for something so simple. Me and my team just want to be able to cheer freely without feeling the discrimination for the association of the past coaches. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Faye Sanum.
Good evening. I stand before you today as an alumnus of Gaylord High School, a former cheerleader, and a deeply concerned member of our community. For 4 years, I poured my heart into the Gaylord Cheer program alongside my fellow athletes and under the guidance of Coach Brittany Gunderson. Coach Brittany was more than just a coach, she was a mentor who instilled in us the values of hard work, determination, and leadership. Using this guidance, I was able to land myself a spot on one of the best cheerleading teams in the country and have now since become a 2-time national champion. Under Coach Brittany's leadership, our cheer program thrived. We broke records and constantly aimed for new heights. However, today, I am not here to dwell on our past achievements. I am here to shed light on the current state of our cheer program and the detrimental effects it's facing under the leadership of Kimberly Jones and the new coaching staff. Kimberly Jones, in her pursuit to oust Coach Brittany, resorted to spreading false accusations and creating a toxic environment within the program. Despite investigations proving these accusations baseless, Coach Brittany chose to resign to spare the team further turmoil. Yet even after her departure, Kimberly's influence continues to poison the atmosphere. The new coaching staff under Kimberly's sway has shown a blatant disregard for the well-being of our athletes. They have imposed arbitrary probations on girls who dared to speak out against injustice and removed fundamental aspects of cheer training like tumbling and strength training. It's clear that the interests of the athletes are not a priority. Furthermore, the behavior of the coaches towards dissenting athletes has been nothing short of appalling. They have silenced voices, deprived athletes of opportunities, and made them feel unwelcome during tryouts. This behavior not only undermines the spirit of sportsmanship, but also damages the confidence and aspirations of these young athletes. As someone who has experienced the transformative power of a supportive coach, I refuse to stand idly by while the future of our cheer program is jeopardized. Our athletes deserve better. They deserve coaches who nurture their talents, prioritize their well-being, and foster an environment of respect and camaraderie. I urge the school board and administration to intervene and ensure that our cheer program returns to its former glory as a source of pride and excellence for our community. Let us not allow the ambitions of a few to diminish the reputation and opportunities of many. Thank you.
Thank you. Genesis Wood.
Good evening. As an alumni deeply passionate about cheerleading, I have attempted to remain involved despite witnessing Kim's behavior firsthand. I returned to coach hoping to provide comfort and familiarity to the next generation. The current coaching staff welcomed me with kind comments, seemingly happy to have me, which I have documented proof of. All seemed well until Coach Page resigned and the rest of the coaching staff left me in the dark. Suddenly, despite treating me well initially, my efforts were met with silence and discrimination. I had to seek answers from Mr. Wilson and attend the parent-athlete meeting just to understand what was happening. Only after Christina had publicly asked about my position at that meeting did the coaching staff acknowledge my presence. In a private conversation with Erin Michael, away from all others at the meeting, she expressed a desire to continue solo and suggested cutting ties with individuals from previous teams, insinuating my friendship with Brittany's daughter could be problematic. She said, quote, "You're really good friends with Brittany's daughter, right?" "Yeah." "I'm just not sure you could make that separation," end quote. I found this discriminatory and decided to speak out, waiting the recommended 24 hours before sharing my experience. Athletes reposted my statement, which I assume was out of sadness for my absence. Imagine my surprise when I found out they were met with all season-long probations on their first day of tryouts just for reposting what I had stated, a clear act of discrimination. The staff also began to spread a false narrative about me and what had happened to athletes and their families, which I also have proof of. Additionally, I was also blocked from the public Instagram page, which contains all 4 years of my memories. First, I was retaliated against for having an association with Brittany. Then athletes were retaliated against for having an association with me. I stand before you today to denounce this unjust treatment. To witness a program I dedicated years to deteriorate due to dishonesty and manipulation is disheartening. It's wrong for coaches to lie, cheat, and manipulate, especially while purposely involving children. It's wrong for these coaches to see no reprimand when Mr. Wilson told me himself it, quote, seemed like they were throwing accusations at the wall to see what would stick, end quote. It's wrong that these people are allowed not only to keep their jobs, but also to work with children in grades 4 through 12. Is this really the example we want to set? Is this what we want our teammates, friends, and children to be shown as right? We want to show children that there is nothing wrong with unethical measures. The MHSCA Code of Ethics states that coaches must have strong morals, support truth, conduct themselves in a manner that supports respect from others, never engage in conduct detrimental to players and spectators, and never knowingly or unethically take another coach's position. I will not stand for this. The fact that this has been going on for nearly a year and has been reported to administration, but nothing has been done, is sickening. Something needs to change, so we are coming to you to ask for your help. Thank you.
Thank you. Jasmine Richard.
My mom cannot be here today, so I was reading a letter that she has written. Thank you for allowing me to communicate my concerns and thoughts with you in regards to the Gaylord High cheer program for my daughter Jasmine, as I could not be here tonight. My daughter Jasmine has cheered sideline and competitive cheer with this program for 3 seasons. We've been through some drastic and dramatic issues and changes in this time, but through it all we have remained neutral and open-minded. Coach Gunderson was a tough coach, but the girls flourished under her guidance, and we learned to respect her, and in return we received respect back. This program was growing and successful, and then she was attacked, and the program died. We had just gotten familiar with Coach Page, and we were getting in the groove of things with her when she chose to leave because she too was being attacked. When a program loses 2 coaches that have been attacked by other coaches, a parent must take notice. I spoke with ADs and principals on multiple occasions and voiced my concerns and was assured the girls were the main concern and the program would recover, and that the coaches chose to leave because they wanted better for the girls and better for themselves, and that they, the leaving coaches, were having daggers thrown at them that they just didn't want to be the reason that the program failed for these girls. I was also assured by the AD that the JV coaches that seemed to be part of the reason for this crumbling program and for the daggers would not be coaching varsity either. I strongly urged my daughter to put on a brave face and attend this year's sideline tryouts and not to give up a sport that she loves and is extremely good at, and to give it an open-minded fair shot. She did just that, and to her sadness and dismay, she arrived at tryouts to see her cheer family had crumbled. Students who stayed through the Brittany and Paige debacle were treated poorly and reprimanded for having their own thoughts and opinions about the situation. We later learned that the AD stepped in and told the coaches that the probation would be null and void. The coaches took away all that made the program fun and great. The schedule of games to cheer at was more than cut in half, and all away games were removed from the schedule. We were again told by the AD he would work on getting this remedied, and that this was not how it should have been handled. How can a coach revamp an entire cheer program without meeting with the school or the ADs? After that day, many of the girls chose to leave the program in its current state. The new varsity coach allows the JV coach to run her program, and she appears to be just a name place, which I was assured would not be the case. Please, board, I ask you to look at these students' futures, read the Facebook posts and the complaints from all these students and parents. Something has to change. The cheer program was the best it had ever been when you had a Coach Gunderson as your varsity coach, and someone who inside destroyed it and continues to destroy it. I just ask you that you all considered what the most important thing, and I hope you see that it's the student athletes. The group of coaches that have destroyed the foundation of this program need to be removed so a new foundation can be rebuilt and all cheerleaders can cheer together again. No more house divided, no more daggers. This has to stop. Thank you.
Thank you. Kylie Scholl.
Hello, my name is Kylie Scholl. I am currently a senior in high school. I have been a member of the Gaylord High School varsity cheer teams for the past 3 years. I am very upset to see what the program has become in the past couple of months. Gaylord High School cheer was on a high of getting better and better each year. Recently, though, the program has gone soft. We have lost now 3 coaches in the past 6 months, and no concerns have been raised as to why. Within the past 2 weeks, I personally have been poorly treated, dismissed, threatened, and silenced by the Gaylord High School cheer program staff. It started at the parent meeting for sideline when I respectfully stated that the coaches of the JV and varsity cheer teams should reconsider allowing the varsity cheer team to go to away games. I stated my reasons that varsity should go to away games and was dismissed and disrespected when the JV coach, Kim Jones, rolled her eyes at me, followed by the varsity coach ignoring my ideas that I had to offer. Following this at tryouts for sideline, which within less than 2 minutes after I walked in, I was greeted with a probation paper stating that I was on probation from that day until the very end of season, as well as not allowed to cheer at the first home game, making the number of games I would cheer at as a senior 3. When I asked the head coach what exactly I did to be in violation, she could not give me a clear answer other than, the paper says what you violated, almost as if she was not the one to write the paper. She served me with a probation paper before she even got the chance to meet me. She didn't give me any warning and didn't notify my parents in any way that I was in violation of anything. The coaching staff also didn't allow anyone who received this or identical probation papers to contact their parents. The athletes were later notified that Wilson had no idea of the probation papers and never approved them for the athletes. This comes off to me as a coach threatening an athlete by putting their season on the line because they shared a Facebook post. Later in tryouts, when I was sitting off to the side on the ground due to an injury that had occurred a few hours before, I was trying to record the material so I could learn it later, and my phone had been taken out of my hands by the varsity coach, with no warning. I have been genuinely scared from what lies and rumors could come of me and my name that I contacted my employer and the Alpenfest Queens Pageant Committee. I knew that I had nothing to hide and did nothing wrong, but I was so fearful that my image would be affected by what Kim Jones had to say. How can someone who is around young women and claims to inspire and lead them make a 16-year-old so scared that she has to contact her employer? I found out that Kim Jones, the JV cheer head coach, supposedly grows pot at her home and sells sex toys. Whether or not this is a rumor or true, I do not know. But either way, I was very uncomfortable with this and went to Wilson about it, and his only response was, I will look into it. How are we, the students at your high school, supposed to feel like we are in a safe environment when you do nothing when we tell you we feel unsafe?
Thank you.
I have copies of my statement and the probation paper if anyone would like to see those later.
Stephanie Wells.
I stand before you today not just as a concerned parent, but as a voice for many others who share my frustrations and worries about the state of our beloved cheer program at Gaylord High School. Over the past year, we've witnessed the rapid deterioration of the once thriving program, and it's time to address the issues head on. With 2 coaches resigning amid allegations and harassment, our girls were left vulnerable and hurting. Promises were made, assurances given, yet the turmoil continued. As parents, we patiently waited for resolutions, only to be met with more confusion and disappointment. The recent developments, particularly the authoritarian control exhibited by one individual, have deeply troubled us, mandated parent meetings clashing with important events at last minutes, and then being met with decisions stripping away crucial aspects of the cheer experience that we've come to know and love. Worst of all, the mistreatment of both current athletes and supportive alumni are simply unacceptable. Our girls should not fear retribution for voicing concerns or engaging with the community. No student should be subjected to unjust disciplinary actions that tarnish their record without proper authorization. It's a grave injustice that cannot be tolerated by any longer. I implore you, esteemed members of the board, to intervene on behalf of our children. We cannot stand idly by as they endure the tyranny of those entrusted with their guidance and mentorship. It's time to hold these coaches accountable for their actions and restore integrity to our cheer program. Our children deserve better leadership, better support, and above all, better treatment. Let us come together to ensure that their athletic endeavors are not overshadowed by fear and oppression. Let us stand up for what is right and just and reclaim the spirit of camaraderie and inclusivity that defines our community. I urge you to take decisive action in rectifying these grievances and safeguarding the well-being of our children. Thank you for your attention and your commitment to upholding the value of and fairness and equality in our educational system.
Thank you. Ariana Jackson.
Good evening. My name is Ariana Jackson. I am 14 years old and an upcoming sophomore at Gaylord High. I've been doing cheer since 8th grade, and I can say in those 2 years I've changed as an individual. Without cheer, I'm like a broken record, going to school, eat, go to sleep, and repeat. And all that, I kind of lose myself. Most days without cheer, I don't even think about coming to school because there's simply nothing to look forward to. The definition of a coach is someone who can help you improve in a sport or a skill, and Kimberly Jones does not define that. When I was coached by Kim, I had a cartwheel that I taught myself. Other than that, I gained nothing. Joining varsity, I learned a round-off, handstand forward roll, and working on my back walkover with tumbling we did have before Kim swiped that away. Nobody knows how many tears this team has shed and watched everything be taken away from us. How are we, young athletes, supposed to feel safe knowing we're in a place that sells marijuana? In addition, with being a varsity coach, I've received completely different coaching styles. The varsity coaches we've lost saw us as young, intelligent ladies who will do more than high school cheer. They made us a team where we could always have each other's backs. And overall, they're the best coaches I've ever had. However, the JV coach, Kimberly, saw us as a chore and was forced to teach us. Not only does she make us practices feel miserable, but as camp as well. Camp 2023, me and my teammates were going to sleep, little giggles here and there, and 10 minutes goes by. She comes up to our room and screams at us and says she's disgusted in us, and we will be running a half a mile tomorrow. So we go to track next morning, and I'm grabbing my inhaler, and she recites, "It's only half a mile, you'll be fine." So I go and I run, and the second I stopped, I would hear this roar across the field saying, "Keep running." Already out of breath as it is. So all me and my teammates ask is to open your eyes and get rid of the drama. No more, I'll get to it later. Enough is enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Hannah Wells Slocum.
Hello, my name is Hannah Wells, and I stand before you today as a sophomore, a member of the Gaylord varsity cheerleading team, and a concerned student. Cheerleading is more than just a sport to me. It is a community where teamwork and dedication should thrive. However, the actions of our current coaching staff have cast a shadow over our team, leading to the departure of 2 varsity coaches and a decline in the mental well-being and enthusiasm of our cheerleaders. During the 2023 sideline cheer season, I faced countless racial slurs and discriminatory remarks from some of our current coaches. This included being told to pick cotton as a joke and being deemed untrustable simply because I was a freshman. The departure of our talented coaches fueled the drama instigated by other cheer coaches, only worsened the situation. At a recent parent meeting, The hatred of the current coaching staff towards the previous coaches and supportive cheerleaders was very obvious. Moreover, significant changes have been made to the varsity cheerleading program without consideration for the athletes. Travel to away games, team tumbling classes, and the physical portion of tryouts have all been taken away, diminishing the essence of varsity cheerleading. Just last week, I, along with 2 other cheerleaders, was unfairly placed on disciplinary probation for merely interacting with a post made by an alumni cheerleader. This decision was made without proper approval and communication, causing unnecessary stress and confusion. During tryouts, safety protocols were neglected, endangering the well-being of the cheerleaders. Attempts to address these issues with the athletic director and other administration have been met with indifference, leaving us feeling unheard and unsafe. Today we stand before you, our last hope, to plead for an intervention. How can we allow these coaches to continue mistreating their athletes and destroying the integrity of our once vibrant cheer program? As young adults, we deserve to be protected and supported, not threatened and neglected. In conclusion, I urge you to take action against the toxic behavior of our coaching staff and restore the integrity of our cheerleading program. Our voices matter, and it's time for a change. Thank you.
Thank you. Lily Wilkies.
A great coach is someone who can inspire, lead others to achieve something extraordinary. They can help people reach their goals and dreams by providing guidance and support and creating a safe space where people can be authentic. Great coaches have many qualities, including communication, listening, empathy, enthusiasm, patience, and honesty. Hi, I'm Lily Wilkes. I am a sophomore and a Gaylord High School cheerleader. Kimberly Jones first became my coach when I participated in competitive cheer my 7th grade year. I didn't have a lot of friends and decided to try out in hopes to build confidence and lasting relationships. My first year as a cheerleader had little to no problems. It was overall a successful season. My 8th grade year of cheer was more of a slow decline. Things seemed alright until National Shoot Your School Day happened and my mom forced me and my sisters to stay home from school given the society we live in and what flowing around in Snapchat. My mom informed Kim that I was not attending school that day due to reasons listed above, but she would not bring me to practice. She would bring me to practice. Instead of understanding my mom's reasons, she threatened to not let me compete for the first competition unless my mom took me to school. My mom called Mr. Somerville, who handled the situation. I was able to stay home for my safety, go to practice, and compete. After that instance, it was obvious Kim wasn't a fan of my mom or I. Flash forward to my JV year for high school cheer. This past season, there was a serious divide between JV and varsity. Rumors were circulating on several occasions. We as students were subjected to Coach Kim Jones yelling at Coach Brittany Gunderson. I'll spare the details of that to keep my 3 minutes. Towards the end of the season, we were given the option to go to an escape room as an end-of-season fun, as Kim worded to my mom, or to go to tumbling. I chose tumbling as I was eager to make varsity next season. For this choice, Kim messaged my mom saying it was not an option and that I would have consequences. She told my mom JV was not allowed around varsity without Kim present. My mom called Mr. Wilson and Mr. Wilson confirmed that was a lie. I went into tumbling and had no consequences. Later, I found out that a student athlete on my team had fell into a marijuana grow operation at the escape room, owned by Kim Jones' family. My teammates were told, and I quote, "You didn't see anything." Flash forward to the opening of season for this upcoming Sunlight Cheer. Paige was our new coach. Within 3 weeks, Kim Jones had reported her twice, and the pressure and stress became too much for Paige, leading her to resign. Aaron Michael moved into Paige's position, and a few weeks after, just found out she resigned as well. In less than 1 year, 3 coaches here resigned in relation to Kim Jones and her hunger for unnecessary stress, drama, and mean girl energy. This is not the kind of coach us young athletes need or want. As administrations, you shouldn't either. Kim Jones being a part of this school and program is a bad publicity for you and for our team. The slate must be wiped clean.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that is all of them for the cheer program, ladies. Your concerns have been heard and they will be addressed, and give us a little time and we'll look into them. Okay, thank you. Chelsea Doobie, girls basketball program is your
First I want to say that you just had 20 plus people come up here and talk about how there was a terrible coach and voiced their opinions multiple times, but still they hired who they didn't want. But you only took one word from one parent and one individual on the team to fire Coach Jenna. This individual had their parents going around the stands trying to get other parents of the team in the bleachers to get them on her side to get her fired. It was their goal in the third game, and when their daughter didn't get playing time, they went around the stands and then also made it clear in the locker room that they wanted Coach Jenna fired. It also has started to happen with soccer coaches, so how does one family have the ability to get one person fired when there are other opinions out there? This one individual had made the perspective, but none of our opinions were considered before making the final decision. I came here today to talk about the fact that I requested a meeting with Superintendent Jim Craycraft, but was always pushed to the side to meet with ADU Mr. Wilson. Then when I would talk to Wilson, he told me that this was a bigger problem than what he could handle. How was I supposed to make a difference if the only person I was allowed to talk to isn't big enough to make this difference? There was a meeting with Mr. Wilson and 13 other teammates of mine, and unfortunately not many of them were able to make it today, but I know they would agree with what I have to say as well as their parents. Coach Jenna has been a great coach. She has taken the time to take lead as we have lost our varsity coach and show us that schedule basketball camps for us to get better, get open gyms. She's taken that initiative. She's very passionate about the game, which has rubbed off on our players, making us want to do better, work harder, and improve. She's very dedicated to the game, and she's taken time away from her life with her kids and her husband because she wants to help us learn and improve. But the one opinion of one family hasn't changed that for her. She's always supported us, even whether that was basketball or just everyday stuff. Playing time is not always going to be equal in a basketball game. That's just how it is, and that's part of the game. So if I wasn't getting equal playing time, I would realize I need to work harder, I need to get better before I can get that playing time, and I would show my coach that. Outside of basketball, Jenna has taken time to build up memories with all of us and build us together as a team. I've built relationships that I never would have expected and have made many memories. 5 good qualities of a good coach. They are good communicators. They have a positive attitude because that'll rub off on the players individually. And I believe that Coach Jenna has all those traits.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Kevin Hesslink.
Thank you for having me. I am dressed like a coach because I just came from practice, so I apologize. But I'm not here to talk about practice or cheerleading or any of the things, and I apologize. I'm not making light of that. But I am here to talk to you about what I am doing, which is campaigning for probate judge. So let me pass out a little bit of information to you.
Kevin, how are you?
And I'm good. And I'll keep it as quick as I possibly can, because I know you have important things to talk about. One of the things that, as a coach, that we do in the boys' basketball program, if anybody else would like one of these, please feel free to pass them if you like. Don't mind passing back. One of the things that we do as a coach in a basketball program is try to get our kids to make decisions on their own. One of the most important things that kids can do is make decisions on their own. And the probate judge, any judge, is just that, a decision maker. It's a person who, people bring them a problem that they can't.
You're addressing us, please.
I'm sorry.
Don't look at the crowd, you're addressing us,
I
please.
apologize. Thank you very much for letting me know that. The process of going to court is making a decision that the parties can't make. My job as a coach has helped me immensely in doing that. Probably the biggest thing that it's done is it helped me to understand the juveniles and the kids and the process of doing that, at educating and helping people reach those decision-making processes. The other thing that's helped me immensely is right now the probate judge, Judge Cooper, cannot run again. That's why the position is open. I am working and have worked for the last 2 years as a tribal court judge down in Mount Pleasant, doing the exact same job that Judge Cooper is doing, simply doing it 100 miles away from here. I've lived here for 31 years, I don't want to keep traveling and doing that. So none of the other gentlemen who are trying to become judge, Paul Slough, David Delaney, and Courtney Cadat, none of them have any judicial experience. And so you'll see on the form that I just gave you, it's a picture of me in my robe. It's not because I want to be a judge, it's because I'm already a judge, and I've done that for 2 years. In addition to being a judge on a court that does the exact same thing, I spent 5 years working as a family court referee, which is basically a judge who's been appointed and not elected. So I've got 7 years on the bench already. In addition to that, I've been a prosecutor for 20 years. 13 of those I spent here in Otsego County as the elected prosecutor. Prosecutor is the closest attorney that you can get to being a judge, because you have to consider not only the rights of the defendant, make sure that he gets a fair trial, but consider the rights of the victim, consider what the community wants as well. The defense attorneys typically just do what is best for their own client. Prosecutors have to consider that wider thing that judges also do. In addition to that, I've taught criminal law and constitutional law and juvenile law for 31 years at the police academy. I do that twice a year, and I update the local police officers 4 times a year. So every year I'm gaining additional experience. Nobody else in the field can do that as well. So as a prosecutor, the probate court, it also encompasses the district court, which is the criminal side of things. About 60% of the cases are criminal, and that's where my background is. So I'd ask you to vote for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And next up, Sheila Simpson.
School board members usually run for office as nonpartisan to work in and for the best interest of the district, focusing with broad perspective on issues for students and school personnel. I'm very concerned that a school board member has personal agendas that conflict with decisions and discussions before the school board. Unknown to much of the public in the last local election, this board member who won is a plaintiff in a lawsuit suing Gaylord Schools and Northwest Department of Public Health over COVID masking. As of April 2024, the legal cost to Gaylord Schools is just over $62,000, which does not include staff time and other ancillary costs devoted to the lawsuit, so the cost is even higher. The total does not include any ongoing costs, since despite 2 court decisions rendering the case moot, the plaintiffs appealed to the Michigan Supreme Court. The $62,000 also does not include the legal costs incurred by public health. Ironically, while her lawsuit against Gaylord Schools is costing thousands of dollars, this board member objected to the salary of the newly hired HR director and a 2% raise for a dedicated superintendent, stating the importance of being good stewards of tax dollars. She voted twice against Gaylord School Board being represented by its long-standing, experienced, and respected law firm. She wished to replace it with the Coleman Law Firm, which has a reputation as a conservative, far-right firm with no past experience representing public schools, and that publicly advocates suing city governments and school districts, often for personal and religious freedoms. In January 2023, that law firm was hired to represent the very contentious Ottawa County Board. By the end of 2023, it cost Ottawa County over $730,000 in litigation fees to the Coleman Group. Wisely, this school board did not approve the Coleman Group to legally represent Gaylord Schools. Because of the serious conflict of her costly legal suit against Gaylord Schools and her personal political bias on several board issues, I wonder how Rachel Davis can faithfully fulfill her board duties to serve the school district with best intentions for Gaylord administration, staffs, and students. Wise, collaborative leadership is needed by this full board for the important decisions being addressed.
Thank you. That is the end of those public input. We have one for the end.
I would
Consent.
like to add something. I will respond. I will, because this was a personal attack. What about the cost to the kids? We're below the state average. Gaylord is below the state average, and those kids that were not in
Let's move on. We
So I
just
care about the kids.
we don't
Ma'am.
interact with the public. The consent agenda. We have board minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the board minutes.
We gotta go through all those.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My
She's gonna
computer
do the
keeps
treasurer report.
jumping on me. I apologize. Trying to get there. We go. All right, June 6, 2024 proposed minutes. We have treasurer's report, general fund and athletic fund bills in the amount of $3.2 million. cafeteria fund bills in the amount of $125,000, sinking fund bills in the amount of $1,500, and prior period adjustments in the amount of $0. We have a leave of absence. It is recommended that the board, this is reading this right one. Yeah, leave of absence of Elizabeth Hunter, and that is the end of the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I will second it.
Any questions on the consent agenda? Okay,
Rachel?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Jeff Weaver?
yes. All right, new and unfinished business. We have the 23-24 amended number 2 budget resolution. It is recommended the board approve the 23-24 amended budget resolution as presented.
I make a motion to approve the 2023-2024 budget resolution, amended budget resolution.
I will second.
Any questions? Okay,
Rachel?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Jeff Weaver?
yes. 24-25 proposed preliminary budget resolution. It is recommended that the board approve the 24-25 proposed preliminary budget resolution as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the 24-25 proposed preliminary budget resolution.
I will second it.
Any questions? Okay,
Rachel?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Jeff Weaver?
yes. Superintendent contract. It is recommended the board approve the superintendent's contract as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the superintendent contract.
Second? Any
I'll
questions?
second it. I have questions, but I'll second it.
Questions?
Yes. Mr. Craycraft, would you like to go into closed session? Because I don't,
I'm not allowed to
just-
go into closed session to discuss my contract. It's not
The
appropriate.
negotiation's already over. This is the contract. It has to be out in the open.
okay. Well, I guess that's the question, and honest, I don't have issues with the contract itself, or with Mr. Craycraft, or giving him the raise. But the fashion that it happened in, again, was, our president has decided he represents the board in the negotiating, and we were just handed it and said, this is what we're doing, like it or not, we don't care, this is what we're doing, is the way I felt. I wasn't at Thursday's meeting, I know there was a long conversation, but I just wanted to express that I don't appreciate the way that we as a board are working together. We are not working together, and we really need to have better communication. I don't appreciate that you read a statement saying that we're not allowed to have any personal attacks with our public input, but yet you've 2 months in a row allowed people to attack our board members. That should have been cut off.
I'm not, by law, I'm not allowed to stop that. It
It was
was,
a personal attack, so if they were personally attacking a staff member, you would have let it go?
ladies, I don't mean to, but there was
No, I'm not
attacks on
I'm
that.
not-
I understand that, but there was attacks on a staff member that I let go because our MASB says that I am not allowed to stop that unless there's something way out there egregious. I can't stop it by law. And the lawsuit is public record, so
Well, I get that, and I understand that, I think everybody understands it, it's just sad 2 months in a row, like, is this gonna keep happening?
I can't
Back
do anything
to-
about it.
Back to Mr. Craycraft's, God, I'm concerned about our process of doing this. I asked you at one of the meetings a couple months ago, hey, we negotiate the contract, how do we do that, what are we doing? You know, talk to me, what do I need to do, where do you do we have to have extra meetings? And you said, I'll let you know. And then all we got was, here it is, so.
So that's just what I wanted to say about it. I'm not against Mr. Craycraft getting a raise or, you know, another contract. I think we could definitely have good discussions about a rolling contract and what that means and if that's really necessary. I guess I don't understand how that works and if it's a normal thing for superintendents to have or not, but that's conversations we should have had instead of it just being thrown at us, so.
It is an industry standard to have a 3-year rolling contract for a superintendent.
Okay.
I would like some documentation to support that because I've talked to a couple superintendents who did not have a rolling contract.
Okay.
So when you say this has been negotiated, so what does that mean? Like it's done? Like if we don't approve this?
And we would have to renegotiate.
And be
But-
included in the process?
Well, I don't think we can all be in there. His contract was negotiated just like all of our contracts. His whole staff wasn't involved on that, but he did confer with the finance department, the human resources, when he met with each individual unit. And then each party took it back to the other. Jim had a meeting with us early on. We went into closed session. We all told him, Joe gave us the idea, or a framework of monetary amounts that the district can afford. Mandy had advised us on new contract language that can or cannot be in there, or that can change. So that all went in. That's the same process that Jim and I went with. And it was talked about with everybody that the percentages that we had were within our budget. So that's where the 2%, 2.5% came in. So it was negotiated that, and it's the way it's been in the past, is the teacher's contract usually sets the groundwork for what the rest of the contracts are, because that's our biggest bargaining unit. So he got no more, no less than what any raise that we gave the rest of our employees.
So why was that never explained to anybody? Like, you were asked by Sarah, Carrie, and I about the process, and none of that was given. And then you met with Mr. Craycraft, and he allegedly gave you documentation. I'm trusting you did. Allegedly gave you documentation of what superintendents make, and that you were satisfied with that, and that was part of the negotiation. Why was that never given to any of us? And we have had times where you've texted two people, and you get input from, two of us at a time.
Mm-hmm.
We can figure this out where we are all involved in the process. And it just seems like it was an intentional act to shut us out of the process, which.
Not an intentional act at all. It all comes down to, nothing can happen until the 7 of us vote on it, so.
I guess I'm confused, because both of you have said you don't care about the raise and you're okay with him having it, but now we're questioning voting on it and passing it through. You're upset with Jeff's lack of communication, but now you're questioning if we're gonna vote it through because you wanna renegotiate.
No,
So then to me, that displays that you do have a problem
Okay, so
passing it through and giving him the raise.
I will be honest with you, yes, I have a definite problem with the lack of communication.
Mhm.
But the other piece is that, yes, I understand it's a rolling contract, so the term goes out every year, we're going forward. But it's sort of to say that it's a 3-year contract when it's renegotiated annually. So when you look at our contract, for instance, the annuity portion, it says for this amount for 2023, 24 school year, 24, 25, 25, 26. But yet, we renegotiate that every year, and we bump it up every year. And so why are it's an annual renewal. It's basically an annual contract. We have an existing contract that both parties signed. It was a binding contract that had terms in it with regard to the base salary and the annuity. And if we're bumping it out, if it's a rolling contract and we're going out a year, seems to me that annuity portion, I'm not including the base salary, because that has numbers in there. The annuity portion doesn't. Why wouldn't we just say, okay, for that third year, that annuity portion, we're gonna increase it to X amount? But right now, we negotiated last year what the terms would be through 2026. So why are we, it's like, I know I said this in the meeting, we're negotiating against ourselves. And what bothers me, Katie, about this is that, and I want our superintendent to have a raise, but as an aside, you know, the cost of things are going up. The high school yearbook went up $20 from last year. It was $45 last year, it's $65 this year. That's a lot of money. And that's, like, a lot of families probably, they're not able to get multiple children yearbooks because it's cost prohibitive. I'm just saying, I want him to have a raise, but this is taxpayer money. So yeah, we've negotiated through 2026. So if we're extending it to 2027, that piece is what we should increase, but not what we've already negotiated. And if we have, you know, all this extra money, why are we not looking at trying to offset some of these costs that are affecting our families? It's their money that funds our schools. That's my point.
Okay. Any other questions?
So Katie did the motion, Sarah seconding it. Rachel?
No.
Katie?
Yes.
Sarah?
No.
I do believe our superintendent deserves a cost of living raise, however, our process, I agreed as well, is flawed. We have had some difficult conversations, we're having difficult conversations right now. I feel this whole thing could have been alleviated with better communication. We were told that the contract was emailed to us. I first got it at the PFN committee meeting, still wasn't emailed to us. It definitely looks deceitful and lack of transparency, which is what I stand for, not deceitfulness, honesty. I hope moving forward that we can construct a better procedure / policy for our negotiations. And I think I'm gonna try and put that to the test by voting no.
Jeff Beaver?
Yes. And the motion does not carry. I will work on communication, but I'm gonna ask of the three of you ladies to work on that communication, because I've been attacked, I'll use your words, by you, that we meet in private, the other four of us. That has never happened. Can the three of you say the same?
That has never happened, that the four of us.
I don't think, the three of you are always talking. I don't want to get this in an argument in the public, but I guess I'm getting to the point where I'm tired of being attacked.
Jen,
I've
I
been
said
nothing
you.
more, I have the floor, thank you,
Okay,
I've listened to
please.
you. Communication's hard when you come in the first meeting and you want to change our law firm because they have a lawyer that is mean to you.
Have you been talking to people in the community?
No, I went through all of my notes over the last year. Yes, I talked to people in the community, all of them. But what you wanted to change, did you not want to change our law firm at the beginning of the year because
That was
Nancy Mullen
A
was
year and a half
mean?
ago. No.
It all goes back to it.
That is such a
It
trivialization of
sets the tone
situation.
that you don't want to communicate.
Jeff,
You
I
said
sent
that
you
I have the
emails.
floor, please.
Oh, okay.
I've listened to you numerous times.
Please continue.
I'm trying. I've listened to you numerous times attack myself, Jim, the other board members, accusing us of doing things. I have never met with Katie, James, and Gorno in a group. One, we can't do that. But I know the three of you are constantly talking. I get a text the other morning at 7 o'clock from Sarah that says, you're speaking to her on these issues. Why don't you come to me and ask me
I
these
did.
questions instead of calling her?
Jeff,
Okay.
I have called you. You have never once called me.
I don't recall
Yes.
you calling me.
Yes, I have.
And I've answered every
Yeah.
email that you've ever sent to me.
Very curtly, and I've
No,
gone out of my way. to
I will admit,
and
I could do better on communication, but
on this
that's.
issue, on this issue, I sent you an email asking you questions. You didn't say, And I copied everyone in because I want everyone to be able to
And
know
I
what's going on.
copied everyone back in.
Correct. And all you had to say was, I met with Jim, this is the information he gave me, I think it's fair. That's it. But you didn't say any of that. You didn't say any of that. Why didn't you say that?
I don't remember exactly what I explained in my email, but
And I was just told after the workshop, a few of the board members stayed back and had a conversation with Mr. Craycraft. There were 3 of you here.
no, there wasn't.
There
I-
absolutely was.
I sat here and ate my lunch.
But you weren't involved in the conversation?
I didn't
Is that
have a
technicality?
conversation. We were told we had to leave because there was an interview in here within about 10 minutes. So I ate my lunch and I left. So
Well, somebody's telling a different story then.
I agree with you. Probably the ones that are out in the parking lot that are watching. Katie did come back and look for her keys, but did not stay, did not talk, looked for her keys and left.
So I was on a meeting on my phone.
That's exactly what happened. But
And there is-
when we're accused of being unethical, I've signed my ethics clause or contract paper. Can everyone here say the same thing?
I'm not, I've been very transparent, I'm not signing it, I'm not
That-
required to
that-
by
that's
law,
fine,
and
I
won't, because I
understand.
know that game.
The game of being ethical?
No,
There's
no, the
nothing
game
un-
of trying to
right.
attack people.
There's nothing
Yeah.
unethical or unlawful about 3 board members communicating. In fact, Jeff, you
No,
were the
you're
one.
right.
Oh, I
It's
have the
not-
floor. I have the floor, excuse me. You were the one who proposed to me that my job as a committee member is to disseminate information to other board members. So if I'm not doing my job, not doing it due diligence, how am I supposed to communicate with other board members? The information that I receive, I'm on 2 committees.
I guess I don't follow you where you're going with it.
You're
What-
saying that 3 people can't have a conversation about what is going on.
But your own, so then what, you're just deceived, you've never had that conversation
I
on
have
your.
called you about things before, and we've had a conversation, and I've also called James. I've reached out to Katie one time and she didn't respond.
Okay.
And I would say that yes, I do talk to these ladies, but that started because when they got on the board, nobody communicated with them, and I happen to know Carrie through ski team, and she's like, when do I show up? What do I do? And so we started talking that way. I do talk to James actually just as regularly as I talk to them. The last 2 conversations I've had with you has turned into a very unpleasant conversation of very heated conversation, let's just say. The few times I've called Katie, she never responds, so I assume that means she doesn't want to talk to me. Okay, whatever. In the 4 years I've been on the board, okay, that's fine. And well, I won't tell you what Gorno says when I call him. So, he's doing his thing, and that's okay. So I have tried to communicate with all of you. Yes, we have conversations because we have questions, and I guess maybe I should have called you and texted and asked you what was going on, but I honestly don't remember what I texted you that other morning, but I know I don't remember what I texted you, honestly. And yes, you responded with an okay. These are conversations that you need to bring to us. Like she said, you need to say, hey, Jim showed up. We now have till June 30th. We have 20 days to finish this contract. We need to make that happen. That's the point. I don't think there's anybody here who's looking for Jim to leave. We want to get this done. Like I said, it's not about Jim, it's about the process. We have 20 days. So when you, apparently, go and talk to Mr. Craycraft to renegotiate this contract or to go through this, could you please say, this is what, and the funny thing is Mr. Craycraft, when he talked about doing their contracts, he's a master at negotiating. He knows what he's doing, and he was expecting you to do the same thing, exactly what he taught us he's doing. He expects you to do that. So could you please say, Mr. Craycraft would like 2% raise and this much as an annuity. How do you guys feel about that? I'm gonna guess you're gonna get a 7-0 yes, but it's the fact that we got nothing. Like, that's the only reason I voted no, okay? Because you need to, instead of saying, here it is, this is what we're doing, and it's what we did for the rest of the staff, so there it is. You need to say, how do you guys feel about that?
So I just wanna clarify, you voted down the superintendent's raise because you're unhappy with Jeff's communication, that's what you just said. So you're punishing Mr. Craycraft.
No, 'cause we have
Because you're
20
unhappy with how Jeff handled something, that's what happened.
No, we have 20 days to negotiate his, we have until
So
June
we're
30th.
gonna negotiate the exact same thing that you voted down, and Jeff's gonna tell you the exact same thing, or put it in clearer writing, and then you'll approve it.
We've been having this conversation for a couple of years that our communication needs to get better on this board. And we keep saying, and we keep, oh, I'll get better, I'll get
Okay, but
better,
you didn't
and it
answer my
never does.
question.
So if this is the only way to make like a point of, listen, communication has to get better, please, let's get the communication better. We got 20 days, and we will move on.
So the point you're making is to punish Mr. Craycraft with his raise because you're upset with
He's-
Jeff Weaver's
we're-
communication.
We're not punishing Mr. Craycraft.
You're not approving his raise.
We're not punishing him.
He's
That's-
going to get a
He's got
raise.
20,
We
we
want-
got 20 more days.
So the
think
raise will
anybody
be the
wants to-
same, but you're gonna have Mr.
I
Weaver
don't
communicate
know,
better
'cause
to
we
you, and
haven't-
then you'll approve it?
I don't know, because we haven't had that conversation yet.
So, just backing
Well,
up
we'll
for a
see, I guess,
second.
in the next 20 days then.
I guess we will.
Backing up for 1 minute, when we had our closed session meetings, which we're not talking about, but it was discussed about what was appropriate for raises, it was never explained that, oh, this is how we do it, that what we do here, it carries over to every other contract. We left that saying, okay, now we have to do our individual contracts and our superintendent contract. That's how that ended. So, that was never, that information, if that's what you were thinking, that was never passed on to anybody. So when we get into, when I look at what you sent out, your initial email that sent out that said that it is tracking with what everyone else is getting. That, and what I said, I did not cast aspersion, I said it has the appearance of impropriety. That's not saying it's improper, but it has a bad look when we're giving our superintendent the same raise that he negotiated for everyone else. So do you understand the distinction there?
No.
You don't understand the distinction?
No.
Okay, I'm not saying it's improper, but it has a look to the outside that it is improper. So we
We've
should
never
avoid
had that claim, nobody's ever came to the board and said that.
So, but did you, with all your negotiations with Brian Pearson, was it that where you're gonna get everything that you negotiated? Because I looked at some of his old contracts and his raises were different, structured, the annuity portion stayed the same.
The only reason that Jim's annuity went up is that's where he asked for the additional money that he got went into the annuity. The annuity has nothing to do with the raise, it's just a vehicle for the money to sit in.
No, that's not an accurate statement, Jeff. He's getting a base salary. The proposal was a base salary increase plus 2% off
Correct.
the base salary to go into the annuity. That's
Correct.
two. Those are two benefits. You get more money base salary, more money into the annuity.
It's all one raise, it all goes to that. And some of that annuity money went from the highly effective clause that he had in that, which there is no more highly effective.
Okay.
So he just asked that money to go into his annuity.
Right, so we, in our existing contract that expires in 2026, it was written in there, okay, it's a binding contract, right? It has terms in there, financial terms
Correct.
through 2026. So both parties agreed to it. The term was the X amount for the annuity, plus there was a merit pay, right? So that
Correct.
is sort of emblematic of what we were willing to give as a merit pay. So we know the merit pay amount, we are not putting in contracts anymore because that has gone away, the state of Michigan has removed that. But that was emblematic of what the terms were that was agreed between Gaylord Community Schools and Mr. Craycraft. So how do we go from that? Okay, that's coming out, but there were two amounts. It was the lower amount that we were talking about. We're taking that out, but we're giving more. So, do you understand? Can you follow that?
He and I negotiated, we weren't taking out that, yes, he got, I think it was $2,000 for highly effective, maybe it was $3,000, and $1,000 for
It's 2 and
effective.
1.
It's 2 and 1. All right, so $2,000 for highly effective, $1,000 for effective. We, as the board, found him as effective. So he was due that $1,000.
Right.
So we've taken that $1,000 still gave it to him. It was already in there for him to have that. We just took that 1,000 and put it into his annuity. That's
And
where
gave
he,
more.
that's where he, all part of his 2% raise for this year.
On top of the base salary increase.
All of that goes into that 2%.
So his base salary increase is the money that's going into his annuity.
No.
No, he got, they're split up there.
Okay.
So there's part of his 2% raise went into his regular salary, and then the other half of that went into his annuity.
So the issue, okay, so here's what is, in the existing contract, it has in there the base salary bump ups, right? It has an amount,
That's correct.
right? So that's set.
Correct.
The annuity portion is also fixed. That was a fixed expense,
Correct.
but we're not living by that. So we're renegotiating that portion of it, which that's the portion of it that is, we have the merit pay that is sort of the that's what we look at for what would be warranted. Correct? But we're going beyond that, even though we have a binding contract through 2026. So that's the part that I'm tripped up, because this is a contract, and why would we break our own contract to cost the district more money?
We're not breaking our contract, we're renegotiating our contract, which
We're-
is what we've done that every single year that I've been on the board.
With the base salary. Have you done that? Did you do that every single year with?
Every year has been different, each superintendent is different. I've been through 4 superintendents. Where they ask for the money to go is their choosing.
But this, okay, so Jeff, this is the point of it. You're acting like it's their money. It's his money. It's not his money. It's taxpayer money, and we're supposed to determine.
Taxpayer money that he earned.
Based on what we decide, not what you decide, what we decide. Our bylaws say that you
We've
have
just
no more
decided he
power.
doesn't get that money, so he didn't get any bumps. His contract as of right now stays exactly the way it is.
Okay. The bylaws say that our bylaws say the president shall perform such other duties as authorized by the board. Were you authorized to negotiate solely on behalf of the board?
We had a board workshop where I negotiated with him, we come out, we had a discussion over it. Nobody went into this totally blind. I met with him on Monday, we talked after I was with him, then I went into, talk to the finance and talk to human resources. Can we do this? Then yes, Cindy got the contract, once it was retyped up and I got it, I forwarded it on to everyone else. And then we got it, we were all there on Thursday to have a discussion about it.
I had sent you lengthy emails prior to that, and all you had to say was, I met with Jim, and, we talked about it, he showed me what other districts are paying their superintendents, I think it's fair, this is how we've done it in the past, but you don't do that. So it's like, this is where the frustration, the doubt, the distrust comes into play, this right there. Because all you had to say is,
You
did not say
emailed
that.
and I answered your questions.
I think we need to move on.
That's fine, I agree.
Multiple board members have made their point that they're not satisfied with the communication. It was voted down. Now we're on to the GBPA contract.
All right, GBPA contract. It is recommended the board approve the GBPA contract as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the GBPA contract as presented.
I'll second it.
Questions?
Rachel?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Jack Weaver?
Yes. Food service contract, it is recommended the board approve the food service contract as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the food service contract as presented.
I'll second it.
Any questions?
Rachel?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Jack Weaver?
Yes. It is recommended the board approve the principal's contracts as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the principal's contracts as presented.
I'll second.
Any questions?
Rachel?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Jeff Weaver?
Yes. Directors' contracts. It is recommended the board approve the directors' contracts as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the director's contracts.
I'll second it.
Any questions?
Rachel?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Jeff Weaver?
Yes. Administrative support personnel contracts. It is recommended the board approve the administrative support personnel contracts as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the administrative support personnel contracts as presented.
I'll second.
Any questions?
Rachel?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Jeff Weaver?
Yes. MHSAA membership resolution. Need a motion to approve MHSAA membership resolution as presented.
I'll make the motion to approve the MHSAA membership resolution as presented.
I'll second it.
Any questions? Okay.
Rachel?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Jeff Weaver?
Yes. Gaylord High School Athletic Director position. It is recommended that we approve the Gaylord High School Athletic Director position as presented.
I'll make the motion to approve the Gaylord High School athletic director position as presented.
I'll second it.
Any questions?
Rachel?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Jeff Weaver?
Yes. That is all for new and unfinished business. Public input. Renee Alexander, you have the floor.
I do recommend that the board have a written policy regarding how we negotiate the superintendent's contract, or a procedure, whatever you choose to call that. Especially when there's contract extensions, pay increases, annuity payments, and those things should include the full board, not just the president in a closed meeting. I was here for the workshop, I saw the questions, which is why I deferred my comment to later, because I wanted to see where the discussion would go today with more board members present, or different board members here. Also, the public comment time. I have had several people tell me that they would like to make public comment, but they can't get here in time to get their paper in the box. And I don't know if you have that in a written procedure for meetings, that it has to be done ahead of time. But I would ask that you would afford the opportunity for people who cannot get here prior to the meeting to put it in there, for them to offer a comment at the end, especially if the meeting is short. Because I've been here at meetings that lasted like 10, 15 minutes and we're done. And there were people that wanted to comment but couldn't, including myself, because I couldn't get here because I was closing my business down at the time that I could have been here. And also, maybe to include in that we could defer if we only use a few of the minutes to talk at the beginning, that maybe we could defer that to the second comment time so we can comment after we've heard all of you talk. And I guess that also would help, because then whatever discussion took place, it's fresh in our minds, so we don't have to wait till the next meeting a month later to try to dig up something that we talked about. As a community member who has attended the majority of our board meetings the past year and a half, it really pains me to see that things are being done that aren't for the betterment of our schools or our students. Especially, I see the test scores, they're not improving. We are below national average on a lot of things. We've got kids graduating from school that can't even hardly read. They can't do basic math. And we're talking, I'm glad the state of Michigan removed that highly effective merit raise. I wish they just would have did away with that altogether and said, if you don't do the job, you don't get the raise. That's how it's been at every job I've ever had. I have been the general manager, hiring manager, and business owner of several businesses in this town. And if there was an improvement, didn't get a raise. And so I don't understand even how that is built in. I do question that. I know, we want to pay, a workman's worthy of his hire, I get that. But if we're not seeing the improvements and things we were promised, I was told a year ago by Mr. Craycraft that I would see improvements. But he asked me for 6 years. That means that a child that's in 6th grade, that's failing in math and English, is gonna leave here. Failed in math and English still, right? Like, they're not gonna have the skills they need.
Thank
We
you.
need something done now.
And that is all the public input we have. Need one more motion?
I'll motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Rachel?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Jeff Weaver?
Yes. Thank you all for coming.